Chapter 1. The topic is Master Face Attack on Face Recognition System. Introduction. The general introduction. Password secure passwords should be used, yet because they may be difficult to remember, they must be altered frequently for optimal privacy. The user still must retain them, and anyone around may be able to sneak a peek to them. Private codes and unlock codes are more practical than hashes. Biometric login, which uses a physical trait of particular to the user and eliminates having to retrieving anything, is even more practical option. Due to this benefit, filtering fingerprinting is now widely utilized on a variety of portable devices such as laptops and tablets. Both among the greatest popular biometric fingerprint and face are two technological traits used for identity. Smartphones utilizing this sort of security are an excellent target for attackers since they may have created an online wallet or e-wallet for making the use of such a devices might be the target an oral assault by a burglar. Face identification. Face identification methods are susceptible to presentation attacks, in which a human trait or artifact is presented in a mode to default its original purpose to the bio capturing unit. An assault via photos is one in which the culprit displaying the recognizing facial feature system sensor picture to the victim. Identification of faces is among the many widely looked into put as it keeps up as a demanding of problem and identification since artificial intelligence has radically grabbed fascination with the imagining field. The recognition of looks has been used for a variety of purposes in the public and private industries such as sensors identify verification among other apps. The typical method of identifying faces is seek to a simpler and more durable system. In contrast, a clear high-resolution image of a person's face is necessary for accurate recognition. A good face image should be tolerant of intrapersonal variation while being discriminative to alterations in facial character. Even if face recognition algorithms have a certain level of accuracy, they are still affected by internal and external variation, including lighting, position, facial expression, and occlusion. The main difficulty in the field of recognizing faces is creating useful feature representation that will increase accuracy in the various situations. Undoubtedly, face recognition methods have changed through time. Traditional approaches relied on descriptor as glowing as principal component analysis, support vector machines, and other machine eradication techniques. The research community was prompted to create some specific techniques to lecture to the variance by the vast diversity in facial features. Use was made as especially including the time variant, intervariant systems. Post factor variation, lightning factor variation, etc. Deep learning techniques based on CNN, convolutional neural network are now being revived and influencing models created of face acknowledgement systems. We demonstrate in this occasion how deep learning offers far more important methods to handle the two sorts of variations. Effective face recognition description can be learned by hierarchical nonlinear mapping because of its deep architecture and great learning capacity. We say that it is vital to train such features by applying two overset signals at once, namely the face ID and the rebuttal signals. The acquired features are known as the deep identification verification features. Face alignment feature extraction and face verification are all steps in the traditional face verification pipeline that incorporate deep ID features. We started out by identifying 21 facial landmarks with the recently proposed SDM methods. Then, using similarity transformation, identified landmarks. The face pictures of are globally aligned. Then, the main objective of our project is to spot the authorized face image effectively to realize in-depth learning algorithm to improve the overall performance for classification algorithms. Chapter 2. The Literature Survey. Title: An investigation of various cutting-edge face acknowledgement systems with the deep learning techniques. In year 2017, Then the methodology sketch undoubtedly among these essential areas that emerge as a vital tool used by safety authorities in light of current forensic science advances. Matching a derived sketches to face photos is a challenging task. Since then, the selected bands are created based on a narrative provided by an observer at the place of crime and may lack delicate details that can be clearly seen in the photo owing to common human errors. A substantial chunk of this novel um, research done in the field up until recently used classic extraction and classification approaches to identify recognition systems. However, only a small number of studies have recently concentrated on employing deep learning approaches to benefit from the rule out likely sector difficulties. Learning methods for removing and classifying features are used. Advantages: while utilizing deep learning computing methods to profit from designs for learning to extract features and classify them to rule out potential domain challenges. Disadvantages: lower process, less accuracy than Title 2. The facial expression identification classification that uses a deep culture and strong face features from depth recordings. These are the authors. So the methodology is indirect to improve human-machine interaction. This paper suggests a Hartley facial phrase thanks scheme based on the depth cameras. With the fact that many scholars have scored zero in on the several ways of studying how one looks, still a number of issues that need to be resolved in the unitarium, as it sounds caused by changes in illumination over time, because the order of pixels for deep photos depending on lens from the camera that collects the depth video information in the makers of FER system personal independent. Additionally, the depth photos should address certain privacy concerns because of users true distinctiveness can be concealed. The meaning of reliable characteristics has a significant impact on a FER system accuracy. Advantages: the main benefit of DBN is that, unlike the other common deep learning structure like DNN, it can learn features from unprocessed inputs. Disadvantages: a significant drawback of DNN is the length of the time required to train them. Deep learning, next the trajectory. Deep learning face representation by joint identification verification in year 2019. So the methodology is in order effectively descriptions of features must be created in order to boost interpersonal construct while reducing intrapersonal variance. That is article will demonstrate how it is effectively solvable by deep scholarship with the supervision from both are required for facial verification plus ID. Deep identification verification traits must initial be trained to just mean to convolution networks that are deep or employed. Wishlist the face authentication task lowers interpersonal differences by combining deep IDs to traits from numerous identities. The face recognition task raises interpersonal variables by isolating deep IDs to traits from individual identities. Both of the duties are critical for face recognition. The deep ID2 features can be applied to the new identities that weren't in the training set with the good generalization 99.15% of the difficult LFW dataset entires requires verification. So advantages are high accuracy, then disadvantages training timing is high. The fourth is face detection system constructed with machine learning called FaceTime. In the year of 2017, methodology in glance at recent advances in the design of a sophisticated convolution neural network for face recognizing and recognizing task. This study purpose of a novel deep learning centered facial tracking system. The technique of developing a face recognize classifier is truly described. This primarily comprised of many vital elements that were constructed using the most advanced methods known today. CNN cascading for recognition of faces and CNN for face embeddings. The primary goal of this study was to put these cutting-edge deep learning algorithms to work for identifying faces. The main issue was employing these methodology on smaller collection of data, since CNN yields the best result on bigger datasets. This is not feasible with tiny datasets production scenario. Advantage: by using time interval, overall accuracy is calculated by constantly applying a deep learning CNN algorithm with the newly collected pictures that were predicted by the model with a high level of precision could be increased. Disadvantage: the network is expensive For accurate prediction, additional trainable parameters are required. Fifth title, deep learning for real-time multimodal identification of face and or an isolated grams computer in near 2080. The methodology is recognition of face has variety of programs such as monitoring, logging, system identification, and personalized technology. Recognizing many faces in real time on a subsystem that is embedded is extremely challenging due to the computational complexity of the analysis. We present a framework to perform numerous identification of faces that operates on a GPU embedded system in this study. Face tracking and convolutional neural network based on identification are included in the system, along with the cutting deep edge CNN recognition mode method. The proposed structure was implemented into NVIDIA Jetson TX2 board, a hidden GPU system with a computation period of 1 second. The suggested technique can distinguish up to 8 phases in real time only, 0.23 seconds according to the experimental data. Existing system. A careful examination on latent factor evolution in today's system was done, which is commonly used for method generating masterpiece. The study involved running an LB algorithm in various scenarios, utilizing multiple database and face recognition software. The goals was to clarify the traits of master faces and define the context under which powerful master faces can be formed. Based on the analysis, a hypothesis was formed that suggests master faces originate in dense areas within financial with facial identification integration systems. And this implies the specific regions of features in the face play of a crucial in the generation of master faces. Disadvantages: it does not affect efficient for large volume of data. Training time is more. The process is implemented without removing the noise. Proposed system. In this system, the face dataset is collected from the respiratory. Then we have to implement the image processing step. Here we can implement the image resize and grayscale conversion. Then we can split the images into test, and train images. The test images is the new prediction and the train images used for evaluation. Then we must include the method for deep learning into reality, including convolutional neural network. The finding of experiments reveal the accuracy. Finally, we can identify the image is authorized or unauthorized. Advantages: it is efficient for abundance datasets. Time and consumption is low. The course is implemented with removing noise. Feasibility study: finding out if using the suggested setup is advantageous is goal of feasibility evaluation. The suggestion will be picked if it has the greatest chance of achieving the success criteria. The feasibility carried out mainly three sections, namely economical feasibility, technical feasibility, and behavioral feasibility. Economical feasibility, a method that is most usually used to determine the effectiveness of a proposed system in economic analysis. Cost and benefit analysis are frequently employed. Through this approach, it is achievable to graduates guess the advantages and saving that the suggested system will provide. The system department hardware is enough for creation of the system. The technical feasibility. The main subjects of this analysis are the its ability to assess the proposed system as for its hardware, software, and capacity. If the system area already has the software and hardware needed, there is no issue that the process of adopting the suggested fix want to grow. The planned solution satisfies the goal can be executed using the variable resources and is technically workable. Behavioral feasibility. Since people are by nature resistance to change, proper training is required. The corporation will lose a lot of money as a result. The recommended system quickly creates reports comprising ordinary information upon user request by conflicting, providing something that is just briefly described. Tools and technologies. Python. Django is the single of the few languages who can be equally simple and powerful. You will be astonished at just how simple it is to accurate concentrate on how to fix the issue and not the structure and grade of the computer language. Has started in the official start. Flask is great scripting language that is easy to learn. It has good excellent database and a clear effective OOPS methodology. Python clear the syntax, flexible typing, and nature as an interpreter make It's an excellent language for script and rapid creation in many disciplines of most systems. I will talk more in depth about the most famous of those traits in the section that follows. The characters of Python. Simple. Python is an easy to understand tool. Reading a good Python programming is fairly similar to read neat English. The fact as a Python is the pseudocode language is one of the main benefits. It permits you to spend more on the solution to the problem and less for the words alone. Quick to learn. As a spirit saying learning Python is quite simple. Python syntax is really straightforward, was already established. Flask is a um, case of flaws. Simply said, you are free to process, share, change, and connect portions of this program into additional programs, other free programs. That foundation of flaws. It's plan of a community. High level language. It takes care of a little things such as gauging memory space that you apply needs, app, etc. Convenient. Python has modified to work on a variety of other platforms due to its open structure, open source nature. All your written Python based programs can run any of these platforms if you are careful to omit any system dependent elements without needing to be modified in any way. Object oriented. PHP supports both procedure and object oriented code in procedure oriented terms. The software is built around procedures or functions which are nothing more reusable portions of the code. The software is built classes written in object-oriented languages that combine data and capabilities when compared to other significant languages such as C++ or Java. Python offers a very robust yet simple OOP paradigm. Extensible. If it is necessary for an important section of code to run analyzing rapidly or wish a process to be shut down, then could develop this part of EO program in C or C++. Afterwards, utilize it within the Django software. System requirements and specifications. So hardware requirements. So the minimum hardware requirement is Pentium 4 2.1 gigahertz. Hard disk must be 200 GB. The most anything, but I have used Logitech. Keyboard and 10 enhanced keys. RAM 4 GB. Software requirements. Operating system Windows 7 or above. Languages Python. Front end Anaconda Navigator Spider. Software requirements and specification. We should identify users and their expertise in the course of a state procedure. It is critical for decide what the task will be included in this package. It is also list every one of the actions and the goals of every procedure. User function. We can attempt to plan a structure for unit information security. Indirect to send or receive information for task. It is simple and efficient to hire an IT expert. It refers to everyone with a basic understanding of authority and many users to utilize it. In this article, we introduced a distinctive idea known as the unit power. This project can be used to decode records, creating a strategy to stop it at that point. Here, the students are going to develop method for encrypting file moving it accessing it using a set of keys, send a key in accordance with that record and start a record such a at the point. Admin function. We might try to plan an agreement for device security so that we can exchange information for our mission. It is straightforward and efficient for software engineers to use. Therefore, it might be applied for by anyone who is basic understanding in seed capacity and client behavior. In our project, we could create a groundbreaking concept called the gadgets power is used for decoding documents, and we then devise a strategy to conceal the tool from you at the time. We need to create a method for obtaining a secure file and reading it used using a set of predefined keys. From then on, look for a record and provide a key for that to that record. Functional requirement. An object structure of or a component consistency is specified in a encoding by a consistent requirement. I need to materialize as a process containing data sources, leads, and yields, or useful as a major justification for existent real-world demands. Compel the main course used to take completed. The describes the system's objectives or possible development matters Patterns. At the most fundamental level, the system useful requirements may be separated into three categories: the complexity of the server, receiver, administrator, cloud, and its capacities. Grouping server, client, administrating, and clustering server. Given the current fragments, we can determine the highest degree of individual among the persons strongly homogeneity of various groupings. A two-layer groupings approach based on the bunch division analysis, client attributes, and client agreements. We often mix many clients birds and carry them out effectively request. Companies can use these cards to monitor and differentiate client use, and they have money management skills. Evaluations utilizing or not compulsory coloring method. A company can utilize consumer preference research of consumer trends, values, and attitudes. And if a vital out of this strategy to pursue and retain the best regulars. Customer. This research may be evolved for selecting group of clients additionally to managing to assist executive manage client interaction and ensure quality consistency throughout a large consumer based platform process and make marketing requirement for example developed. Business application compromised individual services statistic CRM customized or directing marketing based on the customer behavior and market segmentation and grouping characteristics and preference. Marketing customers identify the appropriate segments, allowing the company to pay attention to its goal customers, developing CRM advertising methods one more effective. To become wider the target customer base and relieve the advertisement team to the time consuming duty, provide continuing varied and rich information of our clients through pre-arranged pre-investigation. Non-purposeful needs. Performance wants the phrase execution prerequisites refers to the total time needed to take action to a demand used for framework capability. In a little seconds, the framework will verify the login information. It result be present in the client cloud and head all data. 3. Our conduct main supply security for beginning the to end of the use of a gadget. The apparatus that only contains a piece of secrets phase. They will retain much of their skeletal base. Protection. Once our processor must adhere to security standards, the gadget should be given by the framework the instant other people steal or misplace the technology. The technology is then covered off by our creation, which then broadcast a new secret word. Security requirements. Our architecture should include safety specs and a device validation secret phase. You can help yourself in your efforts to prevent making missteps by taking extra care of your equipment. Features of high software availability. Our specialized opens quickly, does not slow, and gives information immediately. The use will be successful in resolving these issues. Reliability. Our architecture must be able to identify and get rid of sources of false data. It ought to be examined as well. In the case of an error, systems will show warning images. In addition, our structure won't be crumble even the framework within framework approach is introduced. Our design nevertheless works as a behavior that client finds satisfactory. Usability. With convenience, our framework exchanges the facts with an integer of business. Maintainability. The skeleton is and always used. The device's secret key should be kept safe at all times, and framework should be carefully cared for. Portability. Our framework prevents slight to no amend to run on every system and in any web browser. Chapter 4: System diagrams, system purpose perspectives. So this is the flowchart. The face images, input image, and it will goes to pre-processing the image research at grayscale. So pre-processing image is into image splitting. Then image splitting has two parts. Then test image and train image. Then it will go to classification. Then CNN algorithm will be used. Then it will use the prediction or authentication performance metrics means accuracy. The system architecture refers to all overall structure or organization of a software or information. It refers the components, relationship, and interactions with the system, providing a high-level view of the different elements who work together to achieve the system objectives. System architecture provides a blueprint for designing, developing, and maintaining a software or information system. It helps stakeholders understand the system structure, functionality, and behavior, enabling effective collaboration, decision making, and system evaluation. So, this is the context diagram. The bubble chart is around a C is referred to in a DFD. A system can represent the input data by utilizing a simple graphical formalism. Among the most important modeling tools are the data flow diagrams. It is used in the system modeling component. DFD illustrates the information flow of the system and the result various adjustments. The term DFD is sometimes used to bubble diagram. A DFD can be used to express any degree of abstraction in an system. The DFD phases might be divided to provide for shifting the functional requirements. Chapter 5 detailed design. This is the use case diagram presenting the group of UML language. The development of object centered programming uses UML modeling language with a broad applicability and uniform use. The executive group promoted the standard and oversaw its application through its action. The goal is to gain acceptance for UML as a language for discussing object-based computer software. They are fundamental documentation and the metadata from the current UML components. A plan or method may be changed or enhanced moving forward despite UML. A brought together language for business exhibiting called the Unified Modeling Language is to describe, visualize, construct, and record objects from the both programming and non-programming frameworks. So this is the class diagram. In software engineering, the class diagram is a specific kind of a static diagram used to represent the organization structure of a system. It displays classes, traits, procedures, and interactions between them, providing a visual representation of the system components and the relationship. The class diagrams describes the type of information that is present in the system. Here are some vital parts that can be seen in the class diagrams. Class A, class a class serves as a guide or model for making things. It specifies the traits and actions that member of that class objects have. Membership associations shows that various classes are linked to another. This have a reminder of the links between objects and various one-to-one and many-to-one, and they are possible. Interface. An interface that serves a contract or set of procedures that has class is required to follow. So sequence diagram, a sort of map is one common modeling language in chain map that illustrates the interaction and communication between objects and or component in a system. That it serves as a visual representation of the communication process and provides a foundation for understanding the flow of messages between various entities. Sequence diagrams are sometimes referred by the different names, including time charts, event diagrams, and event condition access diagrams. The names highlight the different aspects or perspectives of the system of the diagram, but they are essential representation of the system. So this is the sequence diagram. Activity diagram. An activity is a graph of specific sort of diagram. It is unifying modeling language used to represent the workflow of the flow activities within the system. It is particularly useful for modeling operation and commercial workflows, showing how various system components interact and the control flow between them. This diagram exists by using diagrams of activities which visually depict the action, decision, and transition that occur within the system. They provide high-level view of the control flow and help the understanding the sequence of the activities and their dependencies. ER diagram. A picture of an entity relationship is a type of diagram used in the database to visualize the relationship between the entities with the system. It represents the conceptual structure of the database in a graphical format. ER diagrams give an image of the database its structure, such as entities, attributes, relationship, and constraints. They help in designing the understanding the logical organization of data and can serve as a basis of implementing the database schema. So this is the ER diagram. Chapter 6 implementation models in input image pre-processing image splitting cataloging performance estimation. So this is the model descriptions. Then image selection. The dataset phase image dataset is implemented as input. The data was kept from the pool of datasets. The data set being used must be in the PNG or JPG files types. Here we learn that we can use the IM plus read API to read it, load the supplied picture. To choose a source image for our method, we use the it file chat box. Image preprocessing in process, we have to be resized and made it an image in grayscale. To image and resize, use the resize method on it apply to integer tuple variable that specifies the image dimension. The function returns a fresh image with the updated pixels rather than altering the first picture. Now user matplotlib as a library and the conversion formula convert a photo sepia and Python. Then image splitting facts are required for machine learning for learning process. Test outcomes are also required for exercise process efficiency in mixing the training data with the test data. The input split was split into training half of our methodology, with the remaining 30% acting as a training data. Image splits in the process of dividing the data variable into two parts. Usually for class cross validator needs, a piece of the data is used to build a predictive model, and a distinct amount is used to evaluate the model's ability. Classification, we must include deep learning algorithms for convolutional neural network in our method. CNN, a deep class neural system called convex neural net, is used largely to access visual imagery. CNN was used in a variety of fields including financial time series, recommendation, classified images, medical image analysis, language analysis, and image and video analysis, all neural in one layer. Has to link every one neural in the layer below. It sends the circuits, which can be networks of full links. Result generated at the end of the result will be generated by a root of the general category forecast metrics are like such as used to access the efficiency of the suggested solutions. Accuracy, the capability given by classifying is referred to the efficiency. It accurates the forecast, the category, company, and forest precious gadgets. The manner in which a specific forecast is able to forecast the portable worth for a parameter for fresh data. So these are the screenshots. Chapter 7, System Testing. Testing. When beginning a public process, the equipment must pass evaluation that comes after eval. A script is evaluated by running it with the goal of identifying flaws. A test scenario with a significant chance of finding error will ideal and installation works of its finds and fixes oversight which who is still beginning determined. Training is necessary for the structure to be successful. The evaluation of a system rationally presupposes that when all the three elements once it is in effect, the objective will be met. The subject of the review is in apparatus while it is in ready for users to perform perception testing. Any developed products could be tested using anyone more using methods. Unit testing. The entire structure is incorporated while every part is separately tested. Unit evaluation is what this is. Unit inspection is used as evaluation, one of the most tiny aspects with the model design. The tiny always goes the term of the model validation. The different components of the system as a whole is evaluated throughout the actual creation of period testing is done. In the test stage, every revision is determined that is operating successfully. In addition, the accepted output of the model, there are actually several checks in order to check the fields, thus the verifying provided data both the format and the veracity, or it being supplied having have been given consideration, finding faults and fully inspecting the system is not good. Integration testing, while two models are merged as scheduled, primarily task could fall short. Either one of them may have been adverse impact on the microoperate. Data can get lost through a connector, etc. Integrative testing is a methodological verification using test data. An integration test will be required for evaluating the effectiveness of the entire system. There are two types of collaboration assessment of the following: verifying the connection from the bottom, evaluation and of integrity performed on the ground upwards. Testing techniques, strategies. White box testing. White box testing is a way to build test cases that builds events using a control loop design within the processor, so as that ensure that each single path within the module has to be at least a single phase of testing using white box testing strategy. We build test cases. Black box testing is a way of identifying missing as well as breakdown capabilities, interface mistake while accessing the external database, mistake in performance with incorrect start to start down. Testing or functionality makes sure that software adheres to its specification and successfully executes for its required functions. So there's a different designation that the procedure is black box analysis. It accesses the conduct of the system externally. In this instance, in this instance, the developed solution could be sketched for the future performs correctly when the specific goal for this identity is known as review can take place. Software testing or strategies, validation testing. Following the completion of the black box testing, the last round of the validation test revealed and fixed interface troubles including begun. There are various ways of describing validate examination, but a single term states that the test is acceptable provided the application function like user could have expected. User acceptance testing. The platform success is primarily contingent on user acceptance by continuously talking with the prospective customers and making improvements as needed. The device being examination goes to examination and acceptance among users. Output testing. The next thing to do following the complete the information testing is the input querying the user concerning format, unnecessary assessment for the of the proposed system as a system can't be beneficial should it fails to deliver what needed in the form that is needed. Any result of displaying what the applicants under investigation makes provides. So these are the three way of convincing the output format in this case. The first has to be printed in the form while the second is on electronic device because it was created a need account during its design phase. This is the format of the result that is displayed on a monitor certified to be appropriate. The result compiles with the user requirements for the actual copy as well as the result of testing. There does not exist link the whole thing. Chapter 8, the conclusion. We conclude that the face images was taken from the data set respiratory. Here we are implementing the image pre-processing testing techniques such as image research, great-scale conversion. We are implementing the CNN style deep learning, deep computing system. The experimental shows the accuracy using this as a foundation classification algorithm. We are identified as the input image is either authorized or unauthorized person. Chapter 9, Future Improvement. To achieve a higher accuracy and effectiveness in customer emotions analysis, a hybrid approaches that combines different techniques and neural network architectures that can be beneficial by hybriding transfer learning, integrating distinctive neural network approaches, and exploring various deep learning network methods. You can enhance the accuracy and effectiveness of a customer's emotions analysis. However, it's crucial to carefully design experiments thoroughly, test the hybrid model efficiency, and verify its result on representative datasets to ensure reliable and robust performance in the real world scenarios. So the bibliography part is there. So these are the bibliography part, and that's all. Thank you.